This is a Global Player original podcast.
They gave him a code name. They gave him the most British code name I've ever heard.
What?
They called him Bovril.
Right, you say one day when you wake up, I think I'm going to spend my life taking the Nazis on.
They seem like a bunch of idiots.
They seem ripe for the picking.
He'd made it up. He was a brilliant
The
liar.
Nazis didn't check up. Of course
Well,
they didn't check up because we know they're
All the B's, boring, bureaucratic,
Yes.
believable.
I tell you what a triple agent is.
What?
A liar. Hello and welcome to Bloomin Legends. I'm Johnny Vaughan.
And I'm Gavin Woodman Woods.
There we go. And welcome to episode...
58.
I know.
Well, you know,
I know it's 58.
just in case.
Because it was 57 last week and
That's
I did my
right.
tribute to Mr. Hines.
That's correct.
Right.
Yes,
So
57
I'm gonna know
varieties.
58, but so why did you do that?
So that makes it 58.
I know that. Do you know what else you might notice? Is don't do that. I get to do the numbers.
Go on.
And that's not going to be part of now
number
the opening.
guy.
So I go, episode...
58.
No! That's not going to become part
This
of
is
it.
much more fun than
No,
I
it's
thought
not
it
more
would be.
fun. It's not more fun at all. Listeners are already dropping comments saying they don't like that thing where Gav does the number. They like that other guy doing it. Incidentally, Gav, you might notice I'm going like this.
Yeah, why are you raising your chin like this?
Because I've actually watched the YouTube channel.
Oh,
Up until now, I've just been listening to the podcast to try and keep it real in some way.
Okay.
Because
but now you're seeing the images.
No, my thinking was, and always it's great if you're sort of lazy
Right.
to justify it.
Yes.
And my justification for not watching it, but only listening to it,
Yes.
is that, first of all, I can do it on the move. I can do it anywhere.
Yeah,
I'm not because it's
Hands-free,
because
eyes-free,
podcasts are eyes-free entertainment. But I said doing a visual bit.
Yeah.
But the reason I can justify it is because it should always stand up as a podcast.
Yes, has to.
That's how it started.
Has to, yeah.
And if we are getting too visual, then that is dangerous.
Very dangerous. Yeah. We're not going to be bringing weapons into the studio to demonstrate things. You know, there's no trebuchets coming in here.
And that's dangerous.
Even though that would be good visually.
Two shot.
Stop.
So that's why I've been listening to it. But now I've watched it.
Yes.
You might notice I'm moving my head.
You're trying to de-jowl yourself slightly.
Not at all. But yes, I might have watched it. But it's not going to make a difference to how we act, is it, Gil?
No.
Hey, we better stop doing this because this is visual stuff
Yeah.
and that won't sit up in the podcast.
No, it won't.
Ladies and gentlemen, could I just say right at the top, while I've definitely got your attention, if you've got any Bloomin' legendary anecdotes to share with us about the Bloomin' Legends in your own life, please share them, bloominlegends@global.com. Also, if you want to comment, you want to make any suggestions, you can drop a comment below. If you're watching on YouTube, you'll know what that means. Or you can just go on the socials at Bloomin Legends. That's Instagram or TikTok.
Lovely.
Gav, tell us about the Bloomin Legend we've got today.
You're going to love this story this week, Johnny.
I'll be the judge of that.
Today's Bloomin' Legend is a man called Juan Pujol Garcia.
Okay.
He was a Spanish double agent from the Second World War, better known by the codename Garbo.
What is a double agent, Gav?
Well, it's someone who is spying for one side, but is also pretending to spy for the other side.
Okay. No, I've always been slightly confused about how does then everyone know where it ends?
Well, or where they all stand.
Yes.
Well,
And
there are ways of checking. Where every intelligence agency checks on their supposed recruits.
Okay.
They always try to verify whether they're being conned or not.
No, I know that, Gav. But presumably you can't be a triple agent because that just makes you an agent.
Yes.
Because you come back
Yes.
again.
Although I'm sure people have tried that. I'm sure people have done that.
Well, you can't be a triple agent. You can only be a double agent. You can't.
You can only be a double agent or an agent.
Or an agent, yes.
Yeah,
you can't be a triple agent.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't go
doesn't-
go
you can't-
beyond
you
two.
can't,
It's
you can't.
binary. It's binary.
Yes.
It's binary.
I tell you what a triple agent is.
What?
A fucking liar.
I wonder if they've got a folder of agents at MI5. Fucking liars.
Reckons he's a triple agent.
Bullshitter.
Yeah, he's just a bullshitter. No, I suppose you could have it if there's a third party involved.
Maybe, yes.
If you're a Russian spy.
And if there are more than three parties involved in the war, like,
if
say...
you're a member of MI6, yeah?
Yeah.
But actually, you're spying for the Russians.
Yes.
But what the Russians don't realise is you're telling the Chinese what you're telling both of them.
Yes.
So you could be a triple agent.
Yes, and I'm sure that has happened loads because it's incredibly lucrative, that kind of thing.
You should talk to some of my. You should talk to some of my mates. You'd have to really sort out your WhatsApps and things, wouldn't you?
Oh, you would.
Oh, Christ.
Or your
I've told them.
You mean your phones?
You're not going to believe this. No. Did I just text that? Did I just text that to Leonid?
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
Oh, God.
They'll know the ship is landing in Tripoli now.
I put Wang at the top as well. Oh, my God.
I CC'd the Imperial Army.
Oh, my God. I texted the Chinese guys with Howard.
Oh, God. That'd be so bad.
Anyway, tell us about this guy.
Okay, so Juan Pujol Garcia, a double agent during the war, spied for Britain, pretended to spy for the Nazis. He was decorated by the Nazis. They never figured him out.
Do you know why, though, Gav?
Why?
It's what we always maintain on this show.
What?
Because Nazis are shit.
Yes, and they're so flattered. They think everyone wants to be like them.
It turns out they were shit at spying.
Terrible.
At codes.
Yes.
At coding
Terrible
machines.
at codes of all the things. Manufacturing.
Right.
As well.
They couldn't even get a submarine around undetected.
I know.
It's just rubbish. 1 in 4 submarines they were losing. And all they were doing was just taking out cargo ships.
Terrible at Navy tactics.
Rubbish.
At one point, they took a third of the subs in the Atlantic and sent them to the Mediterranean. Not one of them made it out of there. This was during the time they were sinking all the Western supplies.
But this is my point. This is why they need to ban every single documentary or whatever on the History Channel that contains this Nazi propaganda, because people are actually starting to think they were good.
Yeah, no, they weren't.
They were around for 12 years, max. Yeah?
And in terms of war, 4 years.
And I'm going to put it straight, yeah? They just rolled into countries unannounced.
With no resistance.
Yes, with no resistance. They just steamrolled in, loads of tanks. Any time anyone gave them a bit, they lost.
They did, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, even the fighting, yeah. What, 5-6 years?
Right.
That's it. Done.
Okay. So let's not even give them. Let's not even give them the benefit of 10 years.
Yeah.
Let's say that like 1942, Stalingrad, it's all over.
Oh yeah. It certainly starts being over. Yeah.
9 years.
Yeah, I know. Big deal.
Yeah, big deal.
Anyway, Juan Garcia was born in February 1912 in Barcelona. He came from a comfortable family, grew up in Catalonia.
What's a comfortable family?
Well, they had lots of sofas. That really nice duvets.
Can I say, I'm not being funny about this, but
they're always like lying down.
No, but I go to Spain a lot. I've never seen a Spanish family that doesn't look comfortable.
They're always comfortable.
Anywhere they are, like a restaurant, on a beach, outside, sitting on a wall watching cars go by us with flat caps on.
I know.
I've never seen a Spanish family that doesn't look somehow comfortable.
Very comfortable.
Very comfortable.
So, yes, very comfortable family, very unspy-like.
Would you stop?
No, listen.
Would you stop
saying?
saying?
He grew up on a lot of sofas.
No, would you stop saying? There's no such thing as an uncomfortable
really nice
Spanish
bed.
family. They're all comfortable. Spain, they just all look comfortable in the shade. Big lunch.
A very unspy-like early life. He grew up farming chickens. He managed hotels. He did a series of normal jobs.
But that sounds quite comfortable.
It does.
Both those things. One involves chicken, the other involves hotels.
He was never a soldier. He wasn't an aristocrat. He wasn't an academic. Wasn't a journalist. These are all the usual spy routes.
It's comfortable.
He was just a very clever, determined character.
Okay.
And he hated extremism. Why did he hate it?
Was he clever?
He was very clever. Okay. Why did he hate extremism? Because he was caught between the two sides of the Spanish Civil War.
Right.
So first of all, in 1931, before the Civil War, he did 6 months of compulsory military service in a cavalry unit. He was unsuited. He didn't like it. He hated horse riding.
Can you say why?
That was normal military service.
Why? What did the Spanish expect?
I know, yeah. And this was a pre-Civil War military, so this was just the army.
Well, the Civil War was 1936 to 1939.
Yes, and this is in 31, so there's quite a ways
but
before.
Who's Spain's enemy?
I know, exactly. Probably somewhere in South America.
Oh, no. He'll be in North Africa, maybe, in the colonies.
Yes, could well be. So
where Franco and the lads were.
Yeah, he didn't like it anyway. He hated horse riding. He claimed to lack the essential qualities of loyalty, generosity, and honour, which is an interesting
caballero.
Yeah, caballero, a gentleman, a horse rider, a
cavalier. It means someone who's got a horse.
Yes, it also means a man of high stature.
Of course, cavalier.
Cavalier, it's the
Cavalier
same thing.
comes from caballero.
Señoras y caballeros. Ladies and gentlemen. Gentlemen.
But I never thought that. Well, no, but caballo is horse.
Yes. And a caballero is a horseman.
Is a horseman.
A knight.
But but for Spanish, but that just means a gentleman.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
If you've got a horse, you're a gentleman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, donkeyman.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah. Footman.
Or an ass.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the Spanish Civil War does break out in 36, and it completely changes his life. During the conflict...
Can I say that, Gav? The word cavalier comes from caballero.
Yeah, same thing. Chevalier, cavalier, horseman, knight, gentleman.
Bloomin Legends.
Isn't it?
Every time.
Absolutely. So during the breakout of the Civil War, his brother-in-law and his mum get taken by the Republicans. These are the anti-Castro forces. And they were saved because he had a relative in a trade union at the time.
Right.
So they were accused of being counter-revolutionaries, but he had union connections.
Did he?
That got them out, yeah. Pujol was later called up for military service on the Republican side, but he decided to go on the run after seeing how they treated his family, and he hid in his sister's house, but they captured him. The police captured him and locked him up. He was freed by a resistance group who forged papers for him to avoid service. And then in 38, he rejoins the Republican military so he can get to the front line and defect to the other side.
Wow.
But he really regrets this because they treat him even worse.
Oh, right, yeah. No, there can't be anything worse than that.
No, exactly.
I always thought, like Philby,
Yes.
when they defected to Russia.
Yeah, right.
Quite a gamble.
Really is.
Hell of a gamble.
It is once
What if
you get
go
there. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Just, you
Oh,
sort of go,
man.
oh, my God. Russia during communist times, this is shit.
Well, I was reminded.
Christ, what have I done?
I was reminded of your description of divorce.
Divorce lawyers.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
It's
yeah.
like being liberated by the Red Army.
Yeah. There's no good ending.
No,
There's no good ending. So he becomes disillusioned by communism and fascism. In fact, he realizes that it's the extremities that he doesn't like.
Well, this is what's extraordinary, isn't it, about the world today?
Mm.
Whatever we've been doing, we can rule that out.
That definitely. We've seen huge mass communism and seen it not work.
So whatever's going on in
We've
Britain.
seen huge mass fascism and
Right.
we've seen it not work.
But also, whatever's going on in Britain, it's not working.
No.
I can't remember the last time we weren't in trouble.
I know.
The Chancellor has said the Chancellor said a recession is
Measures are required.
Inflation is. It's not. None of it works.
No, I know.
None of it.
It's crazy.
The only system that seems to work for anyone is whatever system there is. There's just some filthy rich people at the top.
That's it.
And that's it.
And also they tend to control things like the media or the internet.
Yeah.
And they seem to want us to be more and more divided.
Yes.
Which is useful to them somehow.
I don't know.
Financially, who knows?
But what thrives, and this is a feather in the cap of capitalism.
Yes.
Whether it's communism, fascism, in the middle.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter, or a theocracy. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What always happens is you get people at the top who are filthy rich.
That's right. It's the same result.
It's the same.
It's some kind of
It
oligarchy.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, but it's not reassuring for capitalists. Doesn't matter what's going on below.
Yeah, it's always fine.
Yes.
It's always fine.
Yes.
Yeah, you're
It's
right.
just how they pretend to redistribute wealth.
Right. Yeah, that's the only difference.
That's it.
That
But
is
it
the
just
only
never
difference.
changes.
Right. Exactly right. So this is his emotional origin story. He sees the chaos and violence, and he decides, because he's seen once he's on the other side with the Franco lot, he sees how much the Nazis are rising in Germany, and he decides, no, I want to fight against that lot. So that's his Bloomin' Legend moment number one. He survives the Civil War on either side, and he thinks, I'm going to take the Nazis on.
Right, you say one day when you wake up, I think I'm going to spend my life taking the Nazis on.
They seem like a bunch of idiots.
They seem ripe for the picking.
So he wants to make a contribution for the good of humanity. He approaches the British offering his services. And they basically say, look, you don't know anyone and you don't know anything. We can't use you for anything. He approaches them 3 times at the consulate at the embassy in Madrid. And they keep turning him away. So he's thinking, well, what shall I do? So he thinks, well, okay, if they won't take me, I'll make myself valuable to the British by gaining the confidence of the Germans first. So he goes to the German the embassy in Madrid.
It's quite odd, though, isn't it? Because he's almost Triple H. So he's Spanish.
Yes.
He's thinking about going to the Nazis, but he goes to the British first.
No, he's never thinking about going to the Nazis until the British reject him. And he thinks, well, the only way they'll accept me is if I go and find something out that's useful for them
Okay.
from the Germans.
Okay.
And his way of doing that is to get in with the Germans. So what he does is in 1941, so we're 2 years in the war.
How do you get in with the Nazis?
Well, you promise them
Presumably,
stuff.
yeah.
You promise them
Presumably
stuff.
You've just got to go in and sort of be like a sort of a bigot.
Well, also,
who's a bully.
Yeah, also he's Spanish, so they
Yeah.
probably feel he is with them
yeah, of
ideologically.
course they
he
would
can
do.
pretend to be a Franco.
Well, no, the Luftwaffe, they
Yeah,
fought in the
exactly, they were
but
on the
also,
same
Gav,
side.
I suppose as well, he's got the Spanish credentials. That gives him an in.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well-
I mean, it's quite easy probably to pretend to be a Nazi.
He says to them, I'm a committed supporter to your cause,
Right.
the ideological cause,
Right.
and I can find things out for you.
Yeah.
He created an identity as a fanatically pro-Nazi Spanish
Right.
government official. It's all bullshit. He'd made it up. He was a brilliant
The
liar.
Nazis didn't check up. Of course,
Well,
they
you'd
didn't check up
think-
because we know they're shit.
They wouldn't, and
Of course
also
they
they
didn't.
wouldn't have had to, because
No.
of course he is.
Of course he
He's
is, yeah.
one of these
Oh,
guys,
brilliant.
one of our guys.
Yeah.
They must have had loads
It's
of
like
Spanish
Trump,
agents.
vulnerable
Yeah,
around
yeah.
anyone who flatters us.
Very
isn't it?
loyal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very loyal. He seems corrupt. I trust him.
But he sells it by saying the British don't realise that I'm sympathetic and I am free to travel there.
Right.
So make use of me, he's
Yeah.
basically saying. He obtains a fake Spanish diplomatic passport by fooling a printer into thinking he worked for the Spanish embassy in Lisbon. Just a lie.
Yeah.
He contacts
Hang on a second. That's in Lisbon, though. Portuguese, remember, Britain's oldest ally.
absolutely. So that's why he felt safe doing it there.
But this is what really annoys me about
No, it gets even funnier.
official secrets, Gav.
Go on.
They won't give them away like 100 years on.
No, I know,
They'll
yeah.
still never say.
That's
they
right.
sort of make out they will in 30 years.
Yeah,
and
but
there's
they
things
don't.
that are
Yeah, they
protected
don't.
by like
Yeah.
99 years.
Yeah.
But still, they'll never say exactly what went on in Portugal during the war.
No, they won't.
No, why?
No, of course they wouldn't. So he contacts a guy called Friedrich Knapperetti, an Abwehr Nazi intelligence agent in Madrid, codename Federico.
What's his real name?
Friedrich Knapperetti.
And his code name is Federico.
Federico.
I mean, I'm no
not much of a spy.
I'm
I
no
know.
code breaking,
Yeah.
Gav.
I know, but then they didn't have
This
to.
Federico, do you think it could be Friedrich?
But they didn't
Wait.
feel they had to worry in Madrid, did they?
No,
They were on friendly ground. So
Okay.
anyway, they accept him, and they give him a code name, Arabelle. Don't know why. Don't know why he's called Arabelle. Plus a crash course in espionage, a bottle of invisible ink,
Can you do a crash
a
course?
code book, and 600 quid for expenses. Which, if that is inflated today, it's about £36,000.
Isn't it amazing that spying then? You've given me the spy kit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's the sort of thing we bought as children.
Yeah, from comics, yeah.
No, you get them in like sort of bookshops.
Invisible ink.
They're sort of Smiths.
A
You
code
can get a
book.
spy kit.
Code
Yeah,
book.
invisible ink. A code book.
His instructions were move to Britain and recruit British agents, or
Right.
recruit people to bring information to us that we
Yeah,
want.
travellers of
That's
the right.
That's his another Bloomin Legend moment. He convinces the Germans to let him be an agent for them.
So he's just wandered into the German embassy. He's met their spy department.
Yep.
And he says, "I'll spy. I want to be a spy for you."
Yes.
And they don't even bother checking up with.
Well,
with
he's
the
got
Spanish.
the fake passport saying he's a diplomat and he's a friendly ideologist.
I know, but you can still.
And that means he can travel to
Maybe
Britain.
you'd have thought he'd have checked it out.
Johnny, I would have checked him out.
Well,
This is
but
important
you're
stuff.
in a really friendly country. That's like America. Say the American embassy.
Yeah, a couple of phone
as
calls.
it used to be.
Yeah.
In London, old ally. Could we just check? We got this English guy who's just come in. Could you check up?
Yeah.
Right.
Speak to the diplomatic
Yeah,
office.
unbelievable,
Is there a
Yeah,
diplomat on your
yeah,
staff
yeah.
called
Never heard of him.
Pujol?
They just didn't bother.
I know, it's crazy.
Crazy.
Anyway, so he he never travelled to Britain.
Right.
Do you know what he did?
What?
He just went to Lisbon. Right. And he began sending reports to the Germans just based on newspaper articles from Britain. Right. Public information,
Really?
yes, public information, railway travel guides, and he made stuff up.
He's just literally sending things he's read in newspapers.
Yes, to the Germans as if he's got this information.
And they think he's in London.
Yes, they think he's in England, travelling around, and in wherever. Yeah, it's
He's
so
just
funny.
sending them train timetable.
Yeah, but then he starts having to create fake agents he's recruited or contacts and sources, and he builds an entire network of not real people that he's dealing with.
And now we
it's-
go to the Clibberts.
Well, not yet, not
Okay,
yet.
sorry,
So
I'm really excited. About
he
the
didn't
Clibberts.
just tell one lie. He built a whole universe of bullshit. And one of his made-up agents was, if one of his made-up agents was late
Yeah.
sending in information, he would just make up an excuse. He would just say, "Oh, they fell ill and couldn't make it onto the train," or it was just all really boring detail.
Certainly, if you want a taste of that kind of wartime intrigue in London,
Yes.
And Nazi spies operating,
Yes.
you a great read for you is called Our Friends in Berlin by Anthony Quinn. Our Friends in Berlin. It's just a brilliant read. And it's exactly about this.
Agents they had in Berlin.
No, a guy creating. I mean, I'm wondering if he hasn't based it on this guy, but made him a
different
Englander.
Nationality. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely brilliant book. I mean, you'll do it in 2 days. Great holiday read. But it's exactly this kind of world of bullshit. Are they? Aren't they?
Yeah.
And people sort of use it, gaming the system, often to earn a few quid. But it's a great book.
So one of his, if something happened in the real world that contradicted one of his reports, he would just invent a reason for why that wasn't the case. Because he'd never actually visited, he did make mistakes. He once told the Germans that his contact in Glasgow would do anything for a litre of wine, not realising you would never say litre.
Of wine,
But
mind you, he's absolutely right, Gav.
It should have been 2.2 pints of wine.
No, it shouldn't. I can tell you now, they won't be fussy.
Litre's fine.
Yeah, a litre of Bucky.
So that's another Bloomin' Legend moment. He's spying on Britain without being in Britain.
Yeah.
For the Germans.
Fantastic.
So funny. Anyway, Britain finally noticed...
He'd do anything for a litre of
wine.
No,
Britain notices this. So do you know how the Brits find out what he's up to?
How?
They intercept some of his reports and they realise it's bullshit. And they're thinking, hello... This guy's actually getting away with lying to them.
He's just taking it upon himself.
Yes, but before he talks to them about
just to fight the Nazis,
it's genius
with disinformation.
Yes, it's genius.
Brilliant.
So
that's what it really is. It's a real sort of hacker mindset, isn't it?
Really is. How to get straight to the heart of it.
Incidentally, the origin of the word hacker is quite interesting, Gav.
It's not the lager, is it? Hacker Pure.
No, it's not hacker Pure.
It's a great lager.
The origin of hacker is quite interesting and tells you a lot about the mindset of the hacker.
Go on.
It started at MIT.
Right.
And in MIT, they dismantled one of their professors. At the end of each year, when people are graduating, they do pranks.
Right, yeah.
And this prank was on one of the professors, that they dismantled his Chevrolet, completely.
His car?
Yes.
Yeah.
Took it up in a lift, in an elevator.
All the bits?
All the bits, and reassembled it in his...
study?
In his lecture theatre.
In his theatre?
Yes. They hacked it to pieces, and that's it.
Oh, that's why it's called hacking.
That's called a hack. So a hack has its basis in
physical,
in a practical joke.
Wow!
Literally, that's a good hack. And then after that, every year, people say, "I've come up with a great hack."
Right.
And then
they try and outdo it.
And that's where hacking comes from. Yeah.
Wow.
It's not to do with hacking into a system like
that. No.
Originally, it literally means that sort of to get one up by using your intelligence.
Right.
Yeah.
Excellent. So 1942, British ultra observers, the code breakers, they observed communications or SIGINT, signal intelligence, that seemed so credible that British counterintelligence, because his reports were so credible, they were boring.
Yeah.
They had detail. And
that's what made it. Yeah.
And so,
that's what made it seem so real.
No, but it was
so dull.
It was so convincing. The Brits were worried that there was an agent sending information, accurate information, right?
Well, they're saying
MI5 launched a spy hunt, thinking, well, who is this guy?
Yeah, this is so dull and endless. It could be us.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, eventually they realised the Germans were receiving reports that were just made up. So they called off the manhunt and they realised it was really clever, whoever was doing this. So he was brought in. They brought him in because he's in Lisbon.
Yeah.
They brought him into the British system as a double agent.
How did they find out who he was?
I don't know. They must have had an idea how it was being sent, because they were using code. So whoever the code was.
How was he transmitting it to the Germans?
Well,
he's handing it to his
handler in Madrid. Yeah.
Right.
He was just signals. Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so he's brought in. They speak to him, and he goes, "Yeah, it is me, and this is what I'm up to." And they recruit him. They say, "Now you are useful to us. Can we keep using you?"
Right.
And boy, did they use him. They gave him a code name. They They
What's
gave
his
him the
code name?
most British code name I've ever heard.
What?
They called him Bovril.
Because he's a beef extract.
No, it's so
Because
funny.
he's beef extract.
I mean,
Kev.
no, but there are words that
Yeah.
only British intelligence
but
during that
But
time.
they'd have liked it because it is beef extract. So British beef, yeah? And he's extracted from that. So that's probably why they liked it.
Codename Bovril.
Go on,
But
Bovril.
they used things like market garden, didn't they?
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
like creosote.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of very British code.
Yeah.
Wicket.
Yeah.
Gooseberry.
Please do drop your...
Yes.
What would your name be as a wartime spy?
Well, that's what I was
It's
going to
got to
ask.
be very British, though.
Very, well, Piccadilly.
Yes.
Roly-poly.
Yeah, pavilion.
Um,
Oh, no, that's not very British.
They're not cool words at all, though. I mean, I'd like to be like
Yeah.
viper or eagle or wolfbat
Yeah.
or something, you know.
Sprout.
Bossman, Shark Fang.
Yeah. Would you like to be Shark Fang?
Shark Fang.
Yeah.
He's based in Gibraltar.
Hammer.
Claw Hammer.
Yeah, claw hammer.
Dagger.
Battle axe.
Bro-
What? Broadsword.
Broadsword.
Danny
exactly.
Boy. But we want the very British ones. His is Bovril. If you could beat that.
You know what? Creosote.
That's fantastic.
Creosote's pretty good.
Marmalade.
Isn't it? Two-stroke.
Yeah. Agent Marmalade.
Marmalade. Some horrible killer who's been
yeah.
stabbing.
Stilton.
Stilton.
Stilton. Cheddar.
Shortbread.
Codename Cheddar.
Strawberries. Strawberries and cream.
Codename Tennis.
Cattle.
Yeah. Rugger.
Codename Rugger.
Codename Rugger. See what Rugger thinks. I've spoken to Rugger.
Anyway,
He's don't worry, he's in touch with Marmalade.
they don't keep him as Bovril for long. They change his name to Garbo.
Porridge.
That's what he became famous as after the war. He was Agent Garbo.
Okay.
After Greta Garbo, because he was known amongst MI5 as the best actor in the world. Because he was so convincing.
Okay, fantastic.
From this point on, he's a central figure in what they used him for deception, especially the Normandy landings. You remember the famous operation where they tried to make Hitler think they were going to land in Calais, which worked.
The dead body.
Worked a treat. Not just that, but loads of fake signals, loads of fake build-up of force.
No, they built all those tanks.
Yeah,
They were
all
just
that
made of
stuff.
cloth.
Amazing. And
Cloth
he was
tanks.
big time part of
I
it.
tell you what, they're worth a bit of money.
Are they?
Those cloth
Are
tanks.
they? Are they still
I don't-
exist?
I don't
Yeah,
fucking know, but those nutcases on that, what's that that brilliant show?
Oh yeah. When the guy
Battlefield.
buys tanks and things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What we're looking at here is Hitler's actual toilet.
Hitler's Kazi.
Hitler's Kazi, right here.
So are you telling me, Piotr, that this...
Have you seen that episode?
No, but
Whatever
he's
that
always
show-
going to Eastern Europe.
He's always going to Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
But what's really weird is as soon as they unveil a swastika, they're all like, wow. I know, but I blame all this propaganda footage that everyone's been raised
They
on.
stick on the
They
Discovery
stick on
Channel.
Discovery Channel.
Yeah. They
You're
always-
just watching Nazi propaganda.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
That's why they're all like, but that is an actual decal from an actual Nazi helmet. No, there's an episode where they track down
Right.
his lake yacht.
I mean,
or
usually
something.
when you find something like Abraham Lincoln's pen,
Yeah.
they say things like, can you imagine him holding this
Right.
pen,
But this guy-
writing on the...
Not only
What's
is
he saying with
he's
Hitler's toilet?
He's history's greatest bastard.
Yeah.
The closest we've actually come to Satan
Yeah.
on Earth, which
Yeah.
is the sort of fascination with him.
Yeah.
But he's like round this guy. He's round Hitler's toilet going, this could possibly have actually been used by the Fuhrer.
It might have been one of his shiters
Can I
that
just
was in
say,
there.
incidentally, if you're listening to this or watching this, it is a brilliant show. I absolutely love it. The twins who do things up, his mate who goes along with him, that heavy.
They're always
who's-
fixing
who's
stuff
surprised.
back at
But
his
also,
yard, yeah.
you sense he is loaded.
Definitely.
He is cake.
He's got a
'Cause
castle
everyone
somewhere.
Everyone rents everything
They
off him
do
for war
for
films.
movies and stuff. Yeah,
Although
yeah.
it's really funny. The episode where he takes his daughter up in a Spitfire
Yeah.
and they're both in Spitfires as passengers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his daughter just absolutely loves it. And he's like, oh, I don't get sick. I'm a para. I mean, because he was in the parachute.
Right,
race,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
a brave
yeah.
man. But he's just so sick.
Oh, is he?
He's going, don't do that again, please. It's so fun. No, but the point, what I love about it is if he had a real big ego, he would have taken that out.
Yeah,
of the
they
show.
wouldn't have let them
Big
show it.
image,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
He's
No,
sort of
fair
you
play.
sense
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
a really good bloke.
Fair play. So that is another Bloomin Legend moment. He's been turned down by the Brits, and then they've gone, no, actually, come in. This is bloody brilliant. We're going to use you as part of our deception. So this is now his most effective period, 42 to 44, the real push part of the Allies in the war. Working with British intelligence, he extends his fake spy network into a huge network.
That's amazing.
He maintains the illusion of multiple sub-agents, each with their own personalities.
And he's telling the Nazis
Yes, he's telling them about their own personalities, their politics, their habits, their locations. They're all made up.
Right.
The Nazis believe they've got access to an extraordinary intelligence source.
There's a whole network.
Absolutely. Well, they gave him a medal. They were so happy with him.
No, but can I just say, it could be counterproductive though, Gav, because you don't want to start fooling the Nazis that they're incredibly popular in Britain.
No, you don't want to do that.
By creating this vast network.
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because they might sort of think, well, it's just going to be a pushover.
Well, I say vast. It was in the dozens or so rather than hundreds of thousands.
So,
yeah.
You don't know how people are doing this.
Anyway, it was by now very carefully managed nonsense that they were being fed. And what made him so effective, especially to the German receivers of all this information, is that the details were loads of boring detail.
Yeah, that's what they love.
Bureaucratic and really believable. All the B's, boring, bureaucratic, believable.
But that's who it's going to as well.
And they love it.
They're giving it to people who really live in a world
they want
of
the
boring
details.
bureaucracy.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
And also, you give them that much, they'll go through all of it. So you're wasting all their time. They'll go through every detail.
What's great about it, though, Gav, is whoever you're sending it to, that's the job for them.
Yes, it is, yeah.
So it's full time. The more you can send, the
busier
better they
you
look
keep
down
them.
there because we've got all this information.
That's
it's
right,
fantastic.
yeah. But you're now keeping him from actual intelligence work.
Right,
it's so clever.
But you're keeping him a job. He doesn't care, really.
No, that's true, but he is being fed rubbish.
As long as he's not on the Eastern Front.
Well, also, he was feeding very human details, little minor delays, messy imperfections, which made the whole thing believable. On occasion, he had to invent reasons why his agents had failed to report easily available information, like the movement of ships from Liverpool or something.
Yeah.
He would say, for example, that his fabricated Liverpool man was just ill that day and didn't see the fleet leaving port.
Yeah.
But by now, British intelligence are helping his bullshit. So if he did get caught in a potential lie, they would just publish an obituary of that person to show that they'd died.
Brilliant.
But they even persuaded the Germans to pay a pension to the widow, the fake widow of the fake dead agent.
It's a bit conspicuous, though.
But convincing.
Yeah, really convincing.
It's so clever.
So he's fooled the Germans.
That one of his agents is dead.
Has been killed.
No, he hasn't been killed. He's just died.
Okay. He's just died.
Yes.
And the Germans...
The Brits then publish an obituary to make it seem real.
And the Germans pay a widow's pension.
That doesn't exist.
To a woman that doesn't exist.
To a man that's died that didn't exist.
For a spy that never was.
Because why wouldn't he? If it was real, he would have asked for a pension.
Good name for a Bond film. The Spy That Never Was.
It really sounds like a Bond movie.
Yeah.
So now we come to some of the characters he made up, which are hilarious. So if you want to get your chart out, I'll lead us. I'll lead us.
Coming out.
I'm
so excited.
There's, for example,
Ben. I'm really excited about this, and it's all annotated. So he is.
I'll give you a quick rundown just before you get into the chart.
Remember, his name is Juan Garcia.
Yes, his cover name is Garbo for the Brits and Arabelle for the Germans.
Okay, so he's either Arabelle or Garbo.
Depending.
His real name is Juan Pujol Garcia.
Yes.
So he's invented. Agent 1 is a KLM steward who resigned in 1942. That's Dutch Airways.
Yes.
Is that Dutch Airways?
Yeah,
Still
it is.
then?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Then he's got William Gerbers, a Swiss-German businessman, died in Bucle in 1942.
Go on.
Benedict Carlos, a Venezuelan student in Glasgow, invented him.
Yeah.
Then he's got Camillus, a Gibraltarian NAFI waiter
based in Chislehurst.
Based in Chislehurst. Then he's got Agent 5, is codename Moonbeam.
Yep.
He's a Venezuelan based in Ottawa, and he's the brother of Benedict, the other Venezuelan.
Oh, the other Carlos.
The Venezuelan
yes,
student who doesn't exist in Glasgow. Mm-hmm. Then you've got Agent 6, whose field security NCO died in 1943.
He's having to kill them off here and there, isn't he? Yeah.
Then you've got Dagobert.
Yeah, an ex-seaman in Swansea, a Welsh nationalist.
Well, the first ever double agent the British caught during the war was a Welsh engineer.
Really?
Yeah.
And then below each one, I'll give you another couple of details.
Incidentally, it was the Swiss-German businessman, died in Bootle in 1942.
That's the fake death.
That's Mrs. Gerbers.
Right.
So classic Scouser.
Carlos, the Venezuelan student, was supposedly a pro-Axis young student, useful because he could plausibly move in social circles without attracting attention.
Yes.
The Welsh nationalist was a fictional contact in Wales with strong political opinions.
Yes.
Garbo used him to suggest access to regional networks and local feeling.
Yeah.
Because they were obsessed, the Germans, with British division.
Yes.
They wanted as much of that as possible.
Yes, go on.
The courier, the commercial traveller, was a figure who could move between towns without suspicion, useful for passing messages, noticing troop activity, and explaining delays in things.
Yeah.
Also gave Garbo a way to connect different fake agents together,
Yes.
because he would move between different contacts. And then the disgruntled civil servant. Who's that in our? That's the field security NCO, is it? A supposedly well-placed insider with access to administrative information.
Yes.
Type of character helped Garbo explain how he knew official-looking details of things.
Okay, what's amazing, Gav, is
Yeah.
if we go through these agents. So
Yeah.
Agent 1
Yes, the KLM
is
Stewart.
the KLM Stewart. He resigned in 43.
Yeah.
But he then recruited a KLM pilot who became the courier.
Yes.
And then he then recruited the head of Catalan
MOI section, I
Yeah,
guess, spy.
Ministry of Information.
Yes, it would be, yes.
And then and they recruited a censor in
Yes.
the Ministry of Information. But you've got, look, if we look at Agent 3, Agent Benedict.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the Venezuelan student. He then recruits a pilot officer.
Yes.
Who then recruits an officer in the British 49th Infantry
Yes.
Division. Who then recruits a Greek seaman and deserter, none of whom exist.
That's amazing.
He's then got a radio operator, Almura,
Yes.
who recruits a guard based in Chislehurst.
That's right.
And an American NCO based in London.
Yeah.
But this is what I love. Agent number 5,
Yeah.
that's Moonbeam.
Moonbeam,
He's
yeah.
brother, remember, to agent number 3,
Yeah.
Benedict. The Venezuelans. He's based in Ottawa. So he's got one in Canada, right? He recruits a fictitious cousin who resides in Buffalo who can give him information about the American.
Fantastic.
Then you got
The Welsh nationalist in
well,
Swansea. Look what he's supposed to have recruited.
well, no, look at the line from agent number 7, Dagobert.
Him, yes.
He's an ex-seaman, lives in Swansea, but he recruits a soldier in the British 9th Armoured Division,
Yeah.
who recruits Donny, leader of the World Aryan Order,
Go
who
on.
recruits Wren in Ceylon,
In Ceylon.
who recruits Drake in Exeter, who recruits a Welsh fascist in South Wales, who recruits Doric
In Harwich.
in Harwich.
It's so
It's fantastic.
funny.
And none of those people exist at all.
None of them at all.
None of them at all.
And the Germans are just lapping it up. It's
I just think
absolutely
he's got
amazing.
a great network.
These are fascinating
These are
details.
fascinating people.
And then, but from each one, loads of really boring detail.
What fun
The
thinking things
train
up like
arrived at
that. Sort of-
14:12.
Yeah. What fun thinking
He
things
had
like
3 suitcases with him.
KLM steward. Who recruits who works on a pilot. No, but each one is like a great little drama. That's what it reminds me of. So I'd like Leonardo DiCaprio.
It is. Catch Me If You Can. It's just
but
like you
with
run
it-
out of information, just make up some more.
Just make up some more.
yeah, make it more
Yeah, but
dense with it.
But I love the way with that last guy, Dagobert,
Yes.
which I think is what Owen Wilson's character's called in Bottle Rocket. But I'm
Oh,
not
is
sure.
it? Go on, yeah.
But he's thought of a soldier. Hey, great news.
Yes.
He's befriended this soldier in the 9th Armoured
The
Division.
9th Armoured Division,
Who's
yeah.
great news. We've got Donny. He's leader of the World Aryan Order. What fun at night. Isn't it brilliant thinking of a Welsh fascist?
Definitely. It's
Everyone knows-
hilarious.
Everyone knows they're communists to a man in Wales.
Of course they are. Anyway, now we get to D-Day, which can do with some deception,
Yes.
right? So 1944, it's his most important role. It's what gets him his medals from the Brits. He becomes a key part of the deception campaign, Operation Fortitude.
Yeah.
His aim was to convince...
That's again
I know.
a great operation there.
I know. He's to convince the Germans that it's going to be Calais and not Normandy.
Right.
The challenge was to create stories, just details, just keep sending information where this helps that feeling.
Yeah.
Don't be too obvious.
Yeah.
Passed on by different undercover agents that would divert all Nazi command posts to shore up Calais, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
His team of agents was the perfect solution. He fed false intelligence again and again, even after the landings. It took Hitler weeks to believe that it wasn't Calais. Took him weeks. He kept panzer divisions up there, and that's why the Allies were able to establish themselves in Normandy.
Well, they didn't think they'd go that far. Dunkirk's a bit of a schlep.
Yeah.
They just thought, well, it's going to be Calais because that's 20 miles away.
Right. And also,
because you can swim it.
But even after the invasion, Hitler was laughing, saying, yes, this is the deception. No, this is the landing.
Yeah.
And he kept saying, no, it'll be Calais. Keep the tanks in Calais. And so the Allies just waltzed into France.
Because
they're stupid.
Because Nazis are twats.
And by then he was micromanaging the war and he was getting it all wrong. Anyway, they were encouraged to believe all this, and he keeps all the forces in the wrong place, and that's another Bloomin' Legend moment. This is not a myth, by the way. It took him till August to realise that that was the landing.
Yeah.
In 1944, in one of the most ridiculous twists of the war, he gets honours from the Germans and the British. He's the only man in the whole of the war that somehow gets honoured by both sides. The Germans give him an Iron Cross.
Quite an odd thing on Remembrance Sunday.
Really? Imagine wearing both. Yeah,
when you're parading down the wall with an Iron Cross and like a DSO.
No, it's like the ultimate half and half scarf, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Well, outside crowds. It's fantastic.
Like someone's sewn a British blazer next to it.
You had me at friendship scarves. It's fantastic. So that's some of your strongest work, that was.
I couldn't believe when I read
an Iron Cross by a VC.
Yeah, next to one on each side. Yeah.
Mind you, we joke about it.
Yeah.
But the Victoria Cross's origins lie with the Iron Cross.
How?
Weirdly, and I don't say this to the detriment of the Victoria Cross, the greatest honour anyone can ever have, ever. The Victoria Cross is based on the Iron Cross because in Britain we had no medals for gallantry.
None for valour or anything.
None.
Right.
None.
This is in the late 1800s still,
this
isn't
is
it?
earlier. This is when Prince Albert comes in.
Okay, go on,
and Prince Albert sees the sort of value in terms of PR of something he's seen in Germany, which is this Iron Cross they have for conspicuous
because
gallantry.
he is German.
Yeah. In Britain, we just believe, well, if you die, you can't be braver than that. If you've given your life in battle,
right.
It'll make everyone who hasn't got it, who's lost their dad or lost their brother or lost their son,
feel left out.
Feel like, why is he braver? You know, he's alive walking around with the medal. You know, we've lost. So it was a very un-British thing.
I guess it
medals
was.
for valour were not. It was only when in the days of empire they suddenly really saw the.
Well, it's useful for things to look up to, isn't it? And
to
propaganda
inspire.
and
exactly
worship,
right.
hero
exactly
worship.
right. So there's the PR thing of it,
absolutely,
which I guess is so true because they still kind of, when you go to the Imperial War Museum or in the old days when there was the Sainsbury's Gallery, I don't know if they're still there, but you could see Lord Sainsbury's collection. Sorry, he's not Lord Sainsbury. What's he called?
Ashcroft.
Lord Ashcroft. Lord Sainsbury. You can see Lord Ashcroft's collection there.
Yeah.
And just when you see them, there's the kind of charisma of them.
The VCs are made from what?
A Russian cannon seized in
Sebastopol.
In Sebastopol.
Yeah.
But the cannon itself was a cannon that the Russians had seized off the Chinese.
Oh, really?
It's a bronze cannon.
Yeah.
I think they've only got enough left now for 5.
Really?
At the medal
They've been
makers.
through an entire cannon.
Yeah.
God.
Well, it's been about, 1,600, 1,500?
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, but I tell you what's really weird.
Go on.
Is when you look at these, there's one there which is awarded the youngest ever person who's ever got one, who was a sailor in the First World War. He was only 15 or something.
Right.
But when it was a Navy Victoria Cross, in the early days, it was on a blue ribbon.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
That's
And
interesting.
you look at it, it looks so rare grooved.
Definitely.
You know you can get with a blue. It just looks.
Why didn't they leave that?
I don't
it's
know.
still a VC.
Because I guess.
But if you've been in the different forces, have a different colour to show if you're
because
infantry
I guess
or Navy.
when you're actually
or...
wearing medals, it just blends in with
It's
the
just the
uniform.
medal, I
it
guess.
blends with the uniform because remember their uniforms are exactly the same colour blue.
Of course,
So
yeah.
you just don't see anything there, you know.
So he gets an Iron Cross from the Germans, and the British give him an MBE. Very few people can say, well, no one can say, other than him, as far as I know.
MBE and Iron Cross.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So there's another Bloomin' Legend moment. A top Nazi spy medal for being against them.
Yeah, right.
After the war, he has a serious problem because he's got the Iron Cross from the Nazis. He's got to make sure no one thinks he was actually with them.
Yeah.
And
well, no, he's all right in Spain.
He is. But he fakes his death, which is classic spy act.
That's great.
He fakes his death, he disappears, and he moves to Venezuela. And he lives really quietly.
Hey, well, lots of he's oh no, he hasn't got all those contacts there.
No, well,
because he made them up.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
He probably became one of those names.
Yeah.
After all his escapades, he ends up just by pulling off one final spy cliche, and he just vanishes.
Brilliant.
Absolutely vanishes. And that's another Bloomin' Legend moment. He retires to the pina coladas of the tropics and disappears.
That's
Absolutely disappears. He dies in Caracas in 1988.
Funniest ever place name.
76 years old. Of course it is.
You got to go there.
Yeah. Caracas.
It's
yeah,
Caracas.
yeah. His story was.
Oh, last night was Caracas.
His story was unknown and untouched until he died.
Right.
So he must have had memoirs or something.
Right.
But he wasn't known again until he died. 1980. He stayed completely off the radar till 1988, in case there were any vengeful Nazis.
Gav, Bloomin' Legend. Juan Garcia.
Juan Pujol Garcia.
Juan Pujol Garcia.
Bloomin' Legend.
So, it's leaderboard time, as if by magic the leaderboard has appeared.
Yep.
Thank you, Ben. That's our producer. Not a wall.
This is the chief clibbard.
Yeah.
This is what begat the smaller clibbards.
It's the mother clibbard.
It is the mother clibbard, yeah.
Old mother clibbard.
It is.
So, as we look here, Gav,
My God, that's a collection of people, isn't it?
at number 10 is Jack Churchill. Do you know, our producer really wants us to get rid of Jack Churchill. Do you know what I want to do?
What?
Move him up.
Well,
Week by week. I want to
till
move
he
him up
reaches the top.
above everyone.
How did he get up there?
It's Jack Churchill. Oh, Churchill.
Oh, him, that
People
Churchill.
Go, yeah, no, it's
That's
who's
Jack.
who's top of the leaderboard? You go.
Churchill.
Churchill. Churchill, innit? There you go. Ah, Sir Winston.
Yeah.
What?
No.
Jack
no.
Churchill. 9, Albert Einstein. 8, Alexander the Great. 7, Vlad the Impaler.
Yeah.
6, Genghis Khan. 5, Sir Christopher Lee. 4, Ivan the Terrible. 3, Boudica or Boadicea.
Yeah.
At number 2, Rasputin. Number 1, though, top of the shop, is Sir Francis Drake.
It has to be a sailor.
It's got to be a sailor. Does Juan Garcia get in there? Look, he's good, but I'm afraid not. He's not.
No, he's not going in the top 10. He's honourable mention.
Yes, honourable mention, which is really, Gav, what Bloomin' Legend is always about.
Yes, anyone who's been a Bloomin' Legend.
Yeah. Juan Garcia, Bloomin' Legend.
This has been a Global Player original production.